Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to WiT Spark. I'm glad and proud to be part of this initiative started by Women in Tech, and thanks a lot to our organizers and sponsors for arranging this. Let me introduce you to the topic which I'm going to talk about. It's something which is very close to my heart, and when the topic was proposed, I said I'll be extremely happy to talk about this, in the WiT career section. What I want to talk to you today about is don't outsource your development to managers. Take the lead and internalize your learning rhythm. And I'll decode that for you as we move forward. When I talk about outsourcing your development to managers, I'm not only referring to your managers only, but also to anyone else except you. And let me start why this topic is so close to me by an example which recently came through my mailbox. And usually, in times like these, which are fairly unprecedented, as you would imagine, all of our mailboxes are flooded with webinar requests and new proposals in unprecedented times, training resources, etc., etc. But there was one particular email which caught my attention, and the content of the email, it surprised me with mixed reactions, I would say. It surprised me because it said that, hey, Sumek, we would like to talk to you to learn more about our platform. And just so that you know, 4,000 plus employees of your organization are already using our platform without your sponsorship. Now, it was I would say, a positive reaction first, because I was elated to know that so many people are investing in their own development. I say that it was a mixed reaction because why would one look out for opportunities to learn? Primarily, either they were not available internally, or they took the mantle on their own hands and decided to pursue their own development journey. And it got me thinking on what is the word that we are in right now, and what is the shape of the word that we are bringing onto ourselves. And hence, when this topic was proposed, I said, let me share more about why this topic has been of a keen interest to me. Some of you who would have seen, Strengths Finder as a psychometric test evaluation, or even as a test evaluation, would understand that there are people who are driven by learning and curiosity, and there are people who are driven by achievement and intellection and other things. And there are various such, attributes which are there, which can be related to any individual. I personally have been fairly driven by curiosity and intellection. And doing self-investment has been a topic which has been of great interest to me. And one quote which resonates the most with me is by Mark Twain. And I don't think anything else could have summed it up so well. And Mark Twain goes on to say, the man who does not read has no advantage over a man who cannot read. It's a profound statement, and it's pretty straightforward. And then when I look at this statement and I look at people around me, and I ask this question, not only to myself, but to my team members and my colleagues, to say that, hey, why did we educate ourselves? Was it only to read and respond to emails, at the multiple news feeds that are coming our way? Was it because we wanted to expand our awareness? And why would we want to expand our awareness? And that brings me to the point of, if you pick up any research report coming out from any of the reputed consulting firms, be it Deloitte, PwC, McKinsey Quarterly, et cetera, and you would realize that the term or the phrase, the war for talent, which was coined many years back, it continues to find relevance even today. Talk to most of the CEOs or chief learning officers or chief operating officers of the organizations, and the biggest challenge which people have been facing, not only today, but for the last few years, has been the ready talent is not available. And this is something which I face day in, day out, even within our organization. The times are changing. The jobs are becoming more complex. There is no straightforward or straight-jacketed role which is available today, which employees can get in. Today, we are looking for RPA developers or automation analysts. hey, 3 years back, these roles were not even available. The market has fairly quickly shifted from front end or back end development to full stack developers. And today, every company worth its salt is in the market looking for roles like these. Did the talent which has these skills, did they only gain it through their own experiences? Or did they rely only on the organization? Or did they go out and do something different to become more relevant to the job market? And when I say, internalize the learning rhythm, it's something which we need to be in sync with. We are talking about this in relevance of career. And yes, career is very important, specifically in the technology space where skills can become redundant fairly quickly. I think the pace at which the market is evolving, we will be fortunate if our organizations and our managers can keep pace with it. But that's not always possible. So eventually, the investment which you're going to do in your career, you owe it to yourself. Yes, there could be better opportunities where organizations may do it for you. But imagine a situation where you're only relying on someone else and you have a dependency on someone else to do this for you, and that person doesn't do it. And I'm sure many of you may find yourself in that situation even today. Last week, somebody approached me for a role from a very large tech services firm, and I looked at the profile and I said, hey, sure, we can definitely try and find you a role within our organization. When I proposed that role to one of our recruiting team members and to the hiring managers, and they said to me, this person has been working on skills which were relevant 5 to 6 years back. And now, I'm thinking, that was this person wrong in gaining experiences as it came their way? Because, the classical model of 70-20-10 spoke about on-the-job learning, and on-the-job learning of 70% was primarily through the work profile which was given to them. And the 20 and 10 which was there was possibly up in the hierarchies, same set of managers and leaders who were working on similar technologies. Now, the opportunity which this incumbent or this individual had was to leverage that 10% to really up their game and learn new skills in the market. But hey, they missed the bus. So what's the opportunity available to them? Is today, are they going to fade into irrelevance because of the skills which they have? Leverage many new options, platforms, education opportunities that are available to them. So the crux of what my topic is and what I'm interested in sharing with you is we have moved into a very democratic learning process now. Your career is only your responsibility. Organizations and managers can play a role of enabling parties to that, but eventually how you're going to shape your career will be dependent on you, because you owe it to yourself. So yes, you have to invest in in yourself because you owe it to yourself. And I refer back to one of the articles which I wrote back 4 years back, and I'll encourage, if you find time to go through my LinkedIn profile, please feel free to reach out and you can access my article there. And I've spoken about why investment in self is extremely critical. First thing is you invest to differentiate. Now imagine all the participants on this group coming in from a technology background or even from a non-technology background. Our education system has the ability to churn out extremely strong output, but very homogeneous output. So what is your right to win in a job market by having similar skills, similar education background, and absolutely no differentiation? So the reason why you need to take the mantle of learning and investment into yourself and internalize your learning rhythm is, first and foremost, you need to stand out. Yes, I understand, and I would propose and talk about that you should do it for your own expansion of your own knowledge. But eventually, the expansion of your own knowledge or curiosity that you have to learn new things will add up, and it will help you differentiate. And I'll digress for a moment. I'll talk about my own experiences of going into colleges and hiring. You look at the business schools right now, there is very little to choose from the profiles that are shared with you. Absolutely fabulous scores during their high schools and intermediates, absolutely brilliant CGPA during an undergraduate program. Almost everyone has worked for 2 or 3 years in similar firms, global services setup, or software development firms or analytics firms. And we are really looking for somebody who stands out. There are folks who stands out because of the things which they have done, because they took the mantle on themselves to find that extra piece of information to add to their resume or to add to their repertoire to become more relevant to the job market. So first and foremost, why I'm recommending that you need to not outsource your learning is because you need to take the mantle in your hand and you need to invest in yourself to differentiate. The second one, which I've already spoken about, is from a job employability point of view, specifically to the technology world. You need to invest in yourself to be consistently employable. It will be, and I'm going to use some strong words, it will be foolish for you to rely only on your organizational ecosystem to invest in yourself. It's almost suicidal to assume that regular skills growth will help you continue to maintain your employability. It's not going to be the case. We've seen that. I'm sure you are witnessing that in your careers right now. It's your career, it's your growth, and it's learning on demand. So you can only demand learning or growth if you know what you want to learn. So take a step back and understand what is it that you want to achieve in your career. And I recollect many years back, we were in a conversation during a human capital conference for one of my previous organizations, and we were very lucky to have a esteemedly renowned speaker, Mr. Satish Pradhan. Mr. Satish Pradhan used to be the global HR head of Tata Sons, and he shared one example which has stayed with me all along. And he said, Sumik, he spoke to the audience and said that there are what I find almost always challenging is people coming to me and comparing themselves with their batchmates. And I'm sure folks who have graduated from business schools or engineering schools would resonate with them, this concept of batchmates. And he went on to say that he finds it amusing because we tend to look at batches by number of years of experience, but not by quality of experience. There would be someone who, when they had the opportunity to go to a factory and work there, or to work in a remote rural sales environment, or work on extremely difficult coding challenges or extremely difficult technologies which are just up and coming. When they did that, it was unheard of, or it was something which very risky, or it was something which required them to completely dedicate themselves to this new learning. It's obvious that at some stage they will be able to reap the benefits out of it, right? And I found it so beautifully put that almost all of us who graduate from any of the reputed schools that we do tend to follow our own paths after that. And the paths that we follow are driven by what we learn on the jobs, but also equally by the new learning opportunities that we have gathered for ourselves. I've been fortunate that my organizations took punt on me and gave me opportunities to learn new things. But it was not always the right time or the right role. Sometimes you have to make the most out of what comes your way. And those learnings in retrospect will come in handy for you as you move forward. So clearly you need to invest in yourself to be consistently employable and if you want to stay ahead of the curve. Now, lastly, what I want to talk about is why you need to take the learning mantle on yourself is you need to invest yourself to lead. If you are in a leadership role, if you are in a people management function, and I'm sure a lot of you are, not only is the learning is relevant for yourself, but it's also which your team's expecting from you. And I will use the term learning reference. Imagine for your team members, what is a learning reference that is available to them? As a leader, how are you adding to their knowledge, to their careers, to their development, if you yourself are not in sync with the latest and the next what's coming in the market or what's coming in your field? So if you want to be a great leader, just enabling your team members, just keeping them engaged through organizational facilitated engagement activity is not your job. We are not in that age and time where leadership can be templatized. We are in an age and time where majority of your teams are full of millennials and Generation Z, and this generation thinks very differently. And you need to be completely abreast with what's happening in the world outside to be able to lead this group of extremely competent, fast learning, hungry for development team audience that you have. So to sum it all, I would say that there are three reasons why I'm recommending that you internalize your learning yourself and not necessarily outsource it or rely on anyone else to do it. Is A, because you owe it to yourself. But you invest to differentiate, you invest to be consistently employable, and you invest to become a great leader. Now, I don't want to leave this with you with the feeling that I've just given a sermon, so I'm going to leave you with some thoughts in terms of how you can bring this into practice and how you can make continuous learning as a part of your ways of working or ways of engaging and ways of kind of keeping you completely abreast with the best in the world right now. You may need to look at a conscious shift in how you learn. And that conscious shift in how you learn will only come from, first of all, you knowing what gets you going. So you need to make an effort to understand, are you someone who is interested in learning through audiovisual or through a mentor or through reading, or just get inspired by what you hear in multiple formats like TEDx, etc. So firstly, make a conscious engagement in how you learn. And if you find certain things more engaging, then make a conscious shift onto those platforms. Right? Look at deepening of knowledge and information. I think and I don't want to sound professorial on this, but I think more and more that I look at change of jobs and complexities in the world around us, I think we are getting into more expertise-driven functions now. So there is a need for you to deepen your knowledge and information. Go for depth versus breadth at the initial stages of your career. As you move forward, you can then start looking at both length and breadth and kind of add more variety to your experience as well. But at the beginning of your career, if you're making investments, go into the depth. And from a leadership perspective, I'm going to reference Leadership Code, which talks about that you may have multiple strengths as a leader, but only a few will be towering strengths. And those towering strengths are coming from the depth of knowledge that you have gained in those areas. So from either perspective, either you're an individual contributor or a leader, I think you need to look at gaining expertise in a couple of areas and then going on and broadening your horizon as you move forward. The growth mindset will give you an edge. And growth mindset is talking about, it's slightly different than achievement orientation. Achievement orientation is about you trying to achieve the best in the field that you have. Growth mindset is about expanding your horizon. Learn more about growth mindset. See how you can, or your learning can resonate with growth mindset. Try and make, if you're someone who gets inspired by a group, then look for opportunities to learn within a group. Look for people who are equally excited by the learning opportunity and explore with them tools and resources that are available to you. And I will even go forward to say, don't shy away from making financial investments in your own learning. When we are graduating from undergraduate courses, when we complete that program, in India, I've seen the tendency of everyone to jump on straight away, go in for MBA program. But as you will talk to more and more leaders, you'll realize that the world today is mix of people who have come from all walks of education. So when I say make a financial investment into the program, I'm not only referring to doing it a full-time postgraduate program or a program in the skill domain that you want to explore. You should do that if you have the opportunity to do that. But even if you get self-learning opportunities through e-learning courses or learning platforms, or subscribing to courses, please feel free to explore that area. It's definitely something which is going to add to your ability to do your job better. Not everything is for resume. There are many things which you need just to broaden your perspective and help you do better in your job. Multiple tools and resources are available at click of a button right now. So you have MOOCs, edX, LinkedIn Learning, etc., etc. So it's really a wide open space for you to go out there and learn and explore what's going to be critical for you. So let me sum it up by saying you will be lucky if you have an organization and a manager who's deeply invested in your career. Then that's the best of what you can get. But if you don't happen to be in that situation, think of this as an opportunity to invest in your career, which will come in handy for you for many years to come. Don't let a lack of opportunity in your organization or your manager's investment in your development journey as a handicap. Take the mantle in your hand and you owe it to yourself. You need to do it yourself. Thank you.